Recording in
All right.
progress.
Again, welcome to Kingdom Business, where we know that God is the boss. If you can turn your cameras on, that would be amazing. If you can't, I completely understand. But again, I want to go ahead and dive right on into this, if you do not mind, because I want you to have some time in the breakthrough rooms, meeting and greeting and loving on one another, just figuring out how one another just fits into your life. And so, with that said, let me go ahead and share my screen because I want to jump right into scripture and get this started. We're going to be reading from 2 Kings 4 today. We're going to be talking about the widow's olive oil. Raise your hand if you're familiar with this passage. The widow's olive oil. All right. This is going to be pertinent because I know that you are speakers, you are life coaches, you are content creators, you have services, you have products. Some of you are in the wealth business, the fashion business, the relationship business. Some of you are out there in the faith-based sectors as well. And so this is gonna help you. So I want to dive right on into it. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. All right, here we go. Hopefully everyone can see it. And again, I'll be reading 2 Kings 4. We're going to go verses 1 through 7. And I'll be reading from the New International Version. Let me see if I can blow this up for some of you who need glasses like me. Nope. Let me blow it up that way. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. All right. The wife of a man from the company of the prophets cried out to Elijah, "Your servant, my husband, is dead. And you know that he respected the Lord. But now his creditors, the IRS, the mortgage companies, the auto financing companies, the credit card companies, the loan sharks, the medical bills, his creditors, they're coming to take my two boys as his slaves." Now, you may not have two boys to be taken as a slave, but you have a house, you have cars that may be repossessed, houses foreclosed. The two boys may represent your livelihood. It may represent your ability to feed yourself. It may represent your ability to go on vacations. It may represent your peace of mind. But my two boys as his slaves, I want you to think about what your two boys could quite possibly be. Go into verse 2. Elijah replied to her, "I can't help you." No, he didn't say that. Elijah replied to her, "Girl, it's hopeless. Just give up." Nope, he didn't say that. Elijah replied to her, "Listen, we can do this insurance scam and we can make you some money on the side." That's not what he said. Elijah said, "Girl, how much you owe? Let me write you a check and cover all your bills." Nope, that's not what he said either. What did Elijah say? Elijah said, "How can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house?" In other words, what are your talents? What are your spiritual gifts? What seeds do you have inside of you? What is something you can sell? What do you have inside of your house? What do you, powerhouses, what do you have inside of your house? This is really important because Elijah is giving her a system as her solution. I want you to keep this in mind when people call you and they say, "Hey, can I borrow some money?" And you're tempted just to keep giving them and giving them money. You keep giving them fish instead of teaching them to fish. I want you to sit and consider saying, "Hey, you need to borrow some money. Well, what do you have in your house?" We can learn a lot from Elijah. So Elijah said, "Tell me, what do you have in your house?" And then she said, "Your servant has nothing there at all." That was her first thought. But she said, wait, except a small jar of olive oil. I want you to think about that for a second. Because, see, some of you may be living paycheck to paycheck. Any second now, if one disaster hit, you're going to find out who the real owners of your house is. You're going to find out who the real owners of your automobiles are, right? And so I need for you to start thinking about the small jars of olive oil that you have in your house. Your olive oil could be this. It could be something that God has already been telling you that you need to launch or take to the next level. Your olive oil may be a faith-based YouTube channel or podcast. It may be a retreat for business women or married couples. Your olive oil may be a digital product line. It may be a planner or a course that you're supposed to launch. It may be a subscription-based community. It might be that you're called to write a book, host a conference, launch a coaching program, release your fashion line, release your wealth building strategies, go back and help traumatized youth. I don't know. But what is your jar of olive oil? Verse 3, Elijah said, go around and ask your neighbors for empty jars. I want to pause there because a lot of times we as women, we have this mentality that if it's got to be done, we got to do it ourselves. And even more so, if it's got to be done right, we definitely got to do it ourselves. I need for you to remember that nothing grows alone. Not in nature, not as people, nothing, not in business, nothing grows by itself. We need other people. That's just how we were created. And so Elijah says, go around and ask your neighbors for empty jars. Now that version of that may mean to you, some of you have social media, you have Facebook, you have LinkedIn, you have Instagram or other things that are popular. That may mean for you that you need to go around and ask the people who are following you some sifting questions. You might ask them, if I was a wealth building strategist, you might ask them, for example, hey, what is something that you've tried in order to make you money? You want to find out what problems are existing out there for people. I want you to keep in mind that I always say people need solutions to everyday problems. They don't need your rocket science. I mean, everyday problems. Oh, Rosita, my beautiful cleaning lady, she's been a part of our family for 10 years now. She solves an everyday problem for me, or at least an every week problem for me. She comes and cleans so that I'm free to concentrate on my studies and my business and my family. And I pay her very well. She makes good money doing that because she does it for a lot of families. So go around, ask your neighbors for empty jars. And don't just ask for a few. And again, I want to say here, this is what a business is. Because you are here because you are a powerhouse. Because you have it in your heart that you want to build a business and you want to build a business that aligns with God, right? So I want you to keep in mind that all a business is the monetization of solutions. When you monetize solutions, you have a business. But you don't have a business until you understand the problem that your business solves. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what problems can I solve? What are some problems that I can solve for people who are broke, for people who have broken relationships, for people who have broken businesses? What problems can I solve? And then after that, I need for you to connect that to some real life solutions. All right, let's keep going. So listen, go around and ask your neighbors for some empty jars. Don't just ask for a few. Then go inside and shut the door behind you and your sons. Remember, nothing grows by itself. And then here's what I want you to do, because keep in mind, Elijah is not solving all her problems by saying, hey, here's a check so that she can keep coming back and asking for more and more money. He's helping her to solve her problem by giving her a system. And this is the system that he's giving her. Ask your neighbors for empty jars. Don't just ask for a few. Then go inside, shut the door behind you and your sons. And then what I want you to do next is I want you to pour oil into all the jars. And as each is filled, put it to one side. So she did that. She left him and she shut the door behind her and her sons. And I want to stop here for a second. I want you to notice that it must have been excruciating for her to go around and ask all her neighbors for empty jars, to just put herself out there. Like I know it's excruciating for some of you to put yourself out there on social media. But here's what I need for you to remember. Your people, the people you're called to help, they are hanging out on social media. You got to go where they are. And you don't have to like social media in order to use it. But I need for you to consider building your brand using the World Wide Web, because people buy you before they buy your product. In order to sell, my loves, it takes know, like, and trust. People have to know that you exist, then people have to like you, and then people have to trust you. And because our clients, for you speakers, for you life coaches, even for you that have brick and mortar businesses or e-commerce businesses, because when our clients come to us, they cannot run a credit check on us. They just don't. But what they do is they go to the World Wide Web to trace our digital footprint. That's like the FICO for our clients, our digital footprint, to determine if they can trust us. And then, of course, like. It's easy to build that like when you are launching your retreats and your seminars and your conferences and your books and so on and so forth. All right. So I want you to keep in mind, Elijah is saying, go around and ask all your neighbors. You got to put yourself out there. And I want you to keep in mind that because back then, everyone lived in such a tight-knit community, even without people being able to text and post and email and send crazy stuff about one another. Everybody knew everybody's business. So it must have been excruciating in some cases for this widow who's already lost her husband, who is in jeopardy of losing her sons, to go around and say, hey, can I get some of your empty jars? Because it is hard sometimes to ask for help. And everybody probably knew her business. They probably said, look at her. Her husband died, didn't pay the bills, probably gossiping on her about her like crazy. Like how some people probably talk about you. Look at her. She launching another business. She got another idea. Or look at her. You know she ain't going to make nothing of herself. Right? And so, but she went around. She did it. She followed the system. She swallowed her pride. She went around. She asked her neighbors. And not just for a few. And then she took the time to close herself off from the world. And she shut the door. With her and just the two people she trusted, her sons. And she put in work. And she's pouring in the oil. See, the Bible says faith without work is dead. She had faith in this. And then look what happened. When she went inside and she shut the doors. And the sons brought her the jars. And they kept pouring. When all the jars were full, she said to her son, bring me another one. And her son said, hey, listen, we don't have any jars left. And only when they didn't have any jars left, see how God supplies? Then the oil stopped flowing. Oh, I love that. Then the oil stopped flowing. She went and told the man of God, Elijah, and he said, go sell the oil and pay your debts. You and your sons can live on what is left. She had more than enough to cover her debts, to get her peace of mind, to make sure they had a roof over their head, to make sure they had food on the table. And after that, her and her sons had enough left to continue on with their lives. This has been the reading of the Lord our God. I want to encourage all of you, especially if you are living paycheck to paycheck. especially if you know that God has put some things in your heart, such as retiring your mother or your grandmother or your husband, such as launching a community project, such as reaching back and helping other people. How many of you fit that category? Anybody like that? At least one of those? Yeah. Thank you, Auntie. Good to see you, love. I want to encourage you. If you fit that category, here's what I would encourage you to do. I encourage you to launch a project. A project. Especially if you know you need to make an income. Love, this is an opportunity to make an impact and make the income. A lot of women across, because they're like, listen, if I do this job, if I chase this dangling carrot, I can absolutely make money, but I won't be spiritually fulfilled. However, if I go over here, I'll make the income, I'll make the impact, but I won't generate the income. Loves, whatever it is, God has already planted a natural affinity for whatever it is that you're called to do. It's already inside of you. We just need for you to unleash it. Unwrap it. And the way that you unwrap it is through a project. You need a project. Some of you have already started planting seeds towards a project. For example, I know Heidi is on here. Heidi has a beautiful leadership conference coming up. I don't know how much the investment is, but let me give you an example of a project that will allow you to make the income and the impact. If you wanted to make $10,000, for example, just $10,000, if you wanted to make $10,000, let me tell you how simple the formula is. Of course, after you prayed and got God's permission to do it, the only thing you will have to do is find 20 people to invest $500 in your product or your services. Find 20 people to give you $500. That equals $10,000. Now your next question is, what problem can I solve that people will invest $500 in? I've already given you some examples. You go back to scripture and read it again and figure out what is your jar of olive oil. Search your house, your body, your mind, your spirit, your past. What are some things that you went through in the past that if somebody would have offered you this solution, you would have absolutely paid $500 to solve this problem? Everybody has at least one problem in their life, one challenge in their life that they would absolutely empty their bank account to solve. Everybody. I will tell you one of the best things you can absolutely do, even if you are scared of the stage, is to get on stage and start speaking. Design a tailor-made talk, message, presentation. If you got 20 people to pay you $500 just for that presentation, that's $10K right there alone. We can even make it simpler. You can find 10 people to invest $1,000. 10 people. So what is a problem that you can solve for people in which they will give you or invest $1K in, and you do it every month? My fear is that some of you are not going to even think about this or even do it because you're domesticated. You have a job, and that job has domesticated you. You're used to getting paid on the 1st and the 15th of every month. You go to the bank, and the bank spoon feeds you your money. You don't know how to hunt. You don't know how to get out there and make your money. Some of you do, absolutely. But some of you are like, oh, I can't do it. But last time I read, scripture says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And if you are feeling like, oh my goodness, I can't leave this job. And I'm not saying go and burn all your bridges now. I'm saying create a plan in which you can wean yourself off your full-time job. Jim Rohn has a quote that I absolutely love. He says, work full-time at your job, but work part-time on your fortune. Until eventually you're making so much money working part-time on your fortune that you're able to free yourself from your full-time job. So if you're feeling like, oh my goodness, I know, God, you're calling me to do these things, but I just can't leave this job that pays me on the 1st and on the 15th because I'm a gatherer. I'm not a hunter. I can't go out and hunt. If you're feeling like that, but yet you know that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, my question to you is, what's strengthening you? Whose strength are you relying on? If you don't have the courage to free yourself, it can't be Christ. Because you can do all things, not some things, not just a few things, all things through Christ that strengthens you. And to help you, I'm going to send you into your breakthrough rooms. And I'm going to give you guys a lot of time. I know usually you only get 20 minutes left. So listen, for those of you, as a matter of fact, if this is your first time with us, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. I want to know where my first timers are. First time with us on this platform. You've never seen me or been on any of my platforms before. Put a 1 in the chat. I'm looking at the chat now. Just drop a 1. Okay. Oh, wow. Look at this beautiful name. GB. Okay. So GBEMINIYI. Are you in Africa? Because I know when I was in West Africa, I had to pronounce a lot of words like Bing. Is that Bamini? Bing. I had to practice the GB. And boy, it was something for me. Kadeen, welcome. Elizabeth, welcome all of our first timers. I most certainly hope this won't be your last time with us. That's it. Yes. My love, unmute and pronounce your name. You're in Ireland. Oh, unmute and pronounce your name for us. Jabimini. Go ahead and unmute, love. Can you unmute?
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah. So it's Bimini.
Oh, Bimini.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. I love it. And you're in Ireland. God, praises be to God. That's amazing. Okay. If this is your second time with us, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. And you guys know the rest. If you're always here, always hanging around. Yes, Heidi. Yes, Sandra. Family. Christine, family. Wonderful. Perfect. Listen, welcome to Kingdom Business. You're in the right spot, especially you first timers and those of you who are back again. You're in the right spot if you want to grow your kingdom-based business. And in a second, so go ahead and start grabbing your social media handles. Grab your scheduling software links, because in a second, I'm going to beam you up into your breakthrough rooms. Now, don't go anywhere, because this is your opportunity to go into these rooms and you can network. With your mouse, you can select the room that you want to go in. It's like 5 rooms that you can choose from, and you are encouraged to bounce around. You can go into a room and talk about marketing secrets, for example. Maybe you know some marketing secrets, or you want to ask some questions about marketing, such as social media campaigns. We also have a room based on systems and tools. Maybe you want to talk about artificial intelligence and what's better than ChatGPT, if there is something better than ChatGPT. You may want to go into another room and talk about prayers and gratitude and just share what you're grateful for. It could be based on something personal or something business. Share your victories. You can go into another room and talk about books that you love or podcasts, books and podcasts that completely change the game for you, and share those secrets and tidbits with one another. And then there's also a room that you can go into that's just based on networking. You go into that room and say, hey, this is what I do. What do you do? Well, let's exchange information. And in that way, when we close out, you can get on each other's calendars. And later on, you can talk at length and share 100% of what it is that you do, and just see how you might fit into one another's lives. Now, as I open up the breakout rooms, someone please unmute and share the one rule that we have here.
Never pass up the opportunity to take the mic.
That's right. And I'm loving the hair, Aunt D. Yes, never pass up the opportunity to take the mic. And just keep in mind that when you are speaking, you're speaking to share. You're not speaking to impress. All right. So I'm going to open up the rooms now. The rooms are open. All you have to do is take your mouse and you just self-select. Choose the room you want to go into. and enjoy. Remember, take a page from the widow's book. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Asking for help is a sign that you refuse to give up. And so when you get into those rooms, I need for you to cast your pride and your ego aside, if you got it, and say, hey, listen, I need a little bit more help on this. So, for example, if you know you're not getting clients right now, but you got a business launch, please go into that marketing room or the speaking idea room and just say, hey, listen, last month I got one client. This month I got 0 clients. If you were in my position, what are 3 things that you would do to move the needle on that? And then just let the ideas flow. All right? So the rooms are open. If you need any assistance getting into the rooms, my love, all you have to do is unmute, and I'm more than happy to put you into a room.
I don't see him, Coach Quinn.
You don't see him?
No.
Okay, let me close the rooms. Let me open it again. It's interesting. Even when I'm writing my papers, when I'm having my faith-based business meetings, my computers never mess up more than when I'm doing something for the Lord. It goes wanky like crazy. I've never seen it do that before. Okay, let me go back into the breakout rooms and do what I need to do and open it up again. What do you see now?
Okay, we see him.
All right, perfect. Go ahead and self-select your room. If you're on your cell phone, my loves, the only thing you have to do is maybe go to the bottom of your toolbar and go to more and then go to breakout rooms. Otherwise, you may see an option that says join. However, if you don't see anything or if you don't know what to do, just simply unmute or type in a chat, because I got my eyes and ears on both, and say, put me in the networking room or the speaking idea rooms or the content creation room. LK is in the content creation room with Heidi, the gratitude room or the game-changing books and podcasts or the networking room. Okay, powerhouses. Who would like to unmute and share? Because it looks like most of you are in the content creation room. So did you pick up any golden nuggets that you want to share with everyone? Like, what was your major takeaway when you were in that room? Anybody get any major takeaways when you were in from any room, really, but any major takeaways while you were in the breakthrough room? Go ahead,
I
LK.
think.
Oh, go ahead, Andy.
Okay, so most of the things that we were talking about was trying to help. Why do I seem like I'm echoing? Trying to help drill down what is your actually the problem that you solve. And we talked about kind of backing into that from making sure your client avatar is like one of them we talked about a healthy eating plan, and who are you marketing to? Single, divorce, what's the age, is it online, is it in personal, what's your transformation at, how many, how long it's going to take. So we talked about a lot of that is just trying to put your arms around one, like how you told us the sign on the door, right? But then you may do a lot of different things, but concentrate on that one thing first and kind of build that out, because people don't want to be inundated with a whole bunch of information at one time. You know what I mean? So just trying to figure that out and finding what that niche is and how to get to that target market. And we talked about the use of AI and things like that. So
Excellent.
anyway.
Excellent. You guys are talking about the client avatar. That is so important. Any other nuggets? Thank you, Auntie. Any other nuggets? Okay, it looks like you wanted to share something. Is there something in your heart that you want to share with the group?
Who, me?
No, LK. Can you hear me, LK?
Oh yeah, I can. I just zoned out.
Go ahead, love.
Um, yeah, I still deal with being brave enough to actually go and ask people, like for those empty jars. Before. Like I always wanted to go to yoga studios and ask if I can host women meetings there, or and I'm just, yeah, I just need to do it, basically.
Yeah,
Get it in genuine.
absolutely. And when you finish doing your client avatar work and you really understand the psychographics, the demographics of your client avatar, when you really understand how much pain they are in, you should almost feel this feeling of shame on me for having a solution and not offering it when I know that people are out there suffering and I have this small jar of olive oil that I can offer them that can help them with this problem, that can help them sleep at night, feed their families. So please do the client avatar work. And then if you are of the mind of doing the JVs, like LK is talking about doing the joint ventures, if you're of the mind of doing pop ups, which are great ideas as well, when you approach these people, remember everything is about the problem you can solve. So when you occupy these spots, you're solving a problem for the people you're called to help. But when you enter into a joint venture, you have to figure out the problem that you can solve for them. So if I was LK and I wanted to approach a yoga studio, I would figure out what about my business has common ground that doesn't compete but complements what it is that they do. And then I would say, hey, listen, I know it's getting colder, for example, after doing my research. I know it's getting colder. I know that your registrations are probably down now. I like to help you solve that issue. I would like to occupy your space, just sublease it, subcontract your space when you're not using it, and then I'll get an influx of people coming in. And when they come in, oh my goodness, they're going to know that you exist. So, in essence, what you're doing is you're saving them money on marketing. Because keep in mind that marketing and sales is the bloodline of our businesses. If nobody knows, if people don't know that you exist, if we don't know that you exist, we can't go and pay you. You can't solve our problems. And so by you helping them to get that visibility on their business alone, they should say, "Wow, she's solving a problem for me." Yeah, absolutely. Rather than going in there and saying, "Hey, listen, I need to make some money and I need clients. So can I use your spot?" They're gonna be like, "No." But you have to pitch it in such a way that it solves a problem for them, aka that serves them. So I absolutely love that idea that you have, LK. Yeah. So definitely I would take it to the go to the web and figure out some problems I could solve for that studio. All right. Any other thoughts or insights before we go? Any other? Okay. All right, my loves. Well, let's get you out of here. I just want to remind you that, listen, just I'm just so proud and just so honored that you would take time out for your business and for yourself. That you are doing a wonderful job. And as you go about your day, my loves, just remember never pass up the opportunity to take the mic. Bye bye, my loves. See you next
Bye now.
Tuesday. Bye bye.